Welcome back. We are back tonight for a nice Sunday evening match in A East this time between PSISTORM Dragoons and Death and Delay, two teams that I would be hard-pressed to say which one would be favored in the upcoming match. I think this is going to be very interesting. We're currently waiting for Death and Delay to join the lobby. In the meantime, let's quickly look at the map bans and pick. We have Braxis, Holdout, and Sky Temple, two very, very different maps, banned by PSISTORM Dragoons, whereas Garden of Terror and Cursed Hollow, two of the largest maps in the game, banned by Death and Delay. And Dragonshire was picked by PSISTORM Dragoons, which I'm very excited to see. PSISTORM Dragoons is known for loving those weird, unusual comps on Dragonshire. They're no stranger to going for Abathur comps with an Illidan or a Samuro, or even going double healer on Dragonshire specifically, which is not something they tend to do too often outside of that map, but considering that they picked it, I wouldn't be too surprised if they have a specific plan in mind, and I can't wait to see what it is. Death and Delay, on the other hand, I think we're very likely to see a Blaze in the offlane, or another very tanky hero like that, maybe even a Hogger. I don't know if Hogger is really good on Dragonshire. I think he is. Correct me if I'm wrong. But either way, Death and Delay tend to play their Dragonshire map a lot more standard than PSISTORM Dragoon does. We're still waiting for Death and Delay to join the lobby, but I see their captain asking for the link, so I'll post it. There we go, so things should be sorted out shortly. Already Death and Delay are coming into the lobby. So let me know what you think of their matchup onto Dragonshire. I'm very excited to see this map. A very difficult map to play at the lower divisions, but this is Div A, and I can't wait to see how they're going to play on this map. I can definitely take inspiration. I'm on a new laptop and oh my god, non-dark mode is awful. I'm so sorry, Raka. It is. And it's a pain in the butt to change everything to dark mode since light mode seems to be the default everywhere. Welcome to the stream. I hope you enjoy yourself. I hope you're entertained. And I hope your new laptop works well, too. Once you figured out all the dark mode everywhere. I just recently found out you can actually put dark mode on Twitch, and I felt a little silly for not having put that on earlier. I was blinding myself for no reason. Letting the teams know I am ready. We should go into the game very shortly. I can't wait for the draft. That's one of the most exciting parts of the game to me. It plays such an integral part on what's going to happen afterwards, despite being so short. And even I'm a goth button for the whole internet. Oh yeah. I think there are add-ons for that on Chrome and Firefox, but I don't know if they work well and if they work with every website. But you might want to look into it. Maybe it'll work. Let's go into the draft as it's starting. If you use Opera, it does that automatically for you? All dark mode all the time. That sounds fantastic. One strong point for Opera. Alright, so I can't wait for this draft. Once again, I'm kind of expecting PSISTORM Dragoons, since they picked the map, to go for one of their weird comps that they love to pull onto Dragonshire. We see a Lucio ban out of Death and Delay early on. Lucio is pretty good on this map, especially when playing around two shrines at the top and bottom. He has a lot of room to maneuver while still being able to heal and speed up his entire team. Joanna ban out of PSISTORM Dragoons, a very solid choice since Death and Delay has the first pick. They're going to look to ban those very strong early pick heroes. Junkrat banned, a very good decision by Death and Delay. PSISTORM Dragoons plays a very, very good Junkrat, and he's so good on this map as well. Opera is my cat and is in dark mode. Yeah, your cat is in dark mode completely. We see an Uther ban. That one I'm slightly surprised by. I didn't do in-depth scouting before the stream, but I didn't see Uther being played so much. We see Sylvanas as a first pick, which is very solid. And PSISTORM Dragoons opts to steal the Blaze pick from Death and Delay. I love this. I was pretty sure Death and Delay was going to pick the Blaze, but PSISTORM Dragoons just steals it right out of, under their nose. Falstad also picked. Great potential for a global as well as Gust, which is insanely strong in the right hands. Everyone should ban the Rubbish Rodent. Rubbish Rodent? Which hero is that? I can't figure it out. We see Beetle being picked, as well as Leoric. So, Death and Delay going for a strong frontline. Their offlaner plays a great Leoric, probably second only to their Blaze, if I understand things correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. We're moving into our second set of bans. Anduin is banned by PSISTORM Dragoons, a very, very strong healer, which might indicate that they want to go for a pick comp. Or maybe they just don't want to play against a, whatever Anduin does as shenanigans. That also means they're not going to be able to pick it, even though they have the next set of picks. And Death and Delay banning Diablo, which plays great into a pick comp as well. Hi Malkir, welcome to the stream. I hope you enjoy yourself. We see Tyrael and Kharazim. I like to see that. Tyrael is not a tank that we see very often in the depth of Div E. So I'm always excited to see some games being played with Tyrael and Kharazim as the healer, which will give PSISTORM Dragoons a lot of options, as Kharazim is very, very flexible in what he can do. And if they want to go for a pick comp, he plays fantastically into that. Chromie and Rhaegar. I love the Chromie pick. Rhaegar, a solid pick overall. He's very, very strong. But Chromie, I'm expecting Slowing Sands. I don't know if that's what we'll get, but I'm fully expecting Slowing Sands onto any of the altars, or really anywhere into the map. It can be so impactful near those camps where the passages are very, very narrow. It's fantastic. We see Tracer out of PSISTORM Dragoons as a last pick, which is also going to be very interesting. I don't think they have exactly a pick comp, actually, but we'll see how they play their game. I can't wait to see it happen. And the draft was cancelled. Well, it looks like someone has had a disconnect, so we might have to wait just a little second to get everything back into on track. Flowing Sands on the Shrine makes it so hard to contest effectively. It is really, really strong. Or near those siege camps, Slowing Sands can basically guarantee a successful invade or successfully counter an invade from your opponent, because in order to get to those camps, you almost have to go through the narrow corridor. I love it. Absolutely love it. Enubarak can punish Tracer with Web Wrap, the Cocoon. But other than that, there aren't a lot of Trace Butt counters. I agree, Tracer might be able to do a lot. We're going back into the draft. And thanks for your your input, Raka, by the way. It's very, very awesome to have. You have a lot more experience than I do. Both teams are going to go for the same picks and bans as is customary. So this should go relatively quickly. But do tell me in the chat, everyone, which team you think has the better draft for this map. Which team you think is favored to win the next one, and we'll see if you're right or wrong. I'm thinking that, yeah, Enubarak has a good counter to Tracer, but only for a little while. Sylvanas has pretty good single target damage that doesn't necessarily need to be aimed. It's not a skill shot, so she might be able to do a lot of damage to Tracer. Other than that, they had Rhaegar and Chromie. Chromie is going to have a lot of trouble against the Tracer. Tracer is going to be able to completely wreck that Chromie if she's not well protected by her team, or if she's out of position. I apologize, my typing is weird. I'm in bed with a wireless keyboard looking like TE, like a spoiled diva. That sounds really comfortable. I envy you a little bit. Or not, I'm actually having a lot of fun being here casting. We're going to go for a short intro video before the game begins, and then we'll get right back in. See you on the other side.
Oh, a swap! Oh no, but a swap followed by a light bulb.
Here. 4-man mosh pit followed by a tomb. Oh no! Oh, here's light bomb coming in on the Genji, and that's a 5-man light bomb. They're gonna follow up, and they're gonna get 1, 2, 3 kills.
And it's gonna be everybody dying. Oh my God! When does this happen? Everybody's dead.
We get to look at a loading screen for just a little longer. Here we go. And Raka gets to look at her amazing intro video that she made. You're in a hotel. Does that have to do with your new job, or what is that about? Hopefully everything's okay. Let's load into our first game of this match between PSISTORM Dragoons and Death of Delay. On the left side of the map in the blue, it is PSISTORM Dragoons. And we have Chaos Pigeon on Tyrael, Senpai on Karazim, Lunis Gwen on Falstad, I hope I pronounced that right. Bramble on Blaze and Gambling on Tracer. And on the red hand side of the map, with those bright crimson colors, we have Death and Delay with Delta Sniper on the Chromie, Hyper Tanks on Sylvanas, Sparklark 118 on Anubarak, MDC on Leoric, and Mac Daddio, love that name, on the Rhaegar. And already the teams have split into all three of the lanes and are doing what they can to get the soak advantage on their opponents. Anubarak doing a lot of stuns onto Chaos Pigeon. He manages to use his teleporty sword to get away. And I think your intro video is pretty good, Raka.
You think yourself worthy to wield the Dragon Knight's power?
But if you ever wanted to make a new one, I could help if you want. I'm open to helping with that. I do a little bit of video editing, so I could potentially try and make something if necessary. We see PSISTORM Dragoons taking the siege camp a little earlier, while Death and Delay are now going to get their bruiser camp.
Inherit the Dragon Knight's power and lay waste.
Now Anubarak and Rhaegar, as well as Sylvanas, are probably looking for a gank. They're not going to find it though. Blaze is rotating to take this bruiser camp. Falstad was trying to take it on his own, but that poor Burb was getting completely destroyed. Leoric using his Spooky Ghost ability to get out of the way. And that's a very, very strong push already in the top lane by Death and Delay, while Chromie is taking that bottom altar. But PSISTORM Dragoons is on the counter engage. They're doing a lot of damage to Sylvanas, but Tracer is also going to fall to the turret damage, which does not need to aim to land its shot. So it's a 1-to-1 in terms of kills. Now Death and Delay tries to get a surprise attack onto that Tyrael, but he manages to escape with just over 100 health with that teleport sword. And I don't know what the name of that ability is exactly, because I don't play Tyrael, but I think it looks very cool. Now Death and Delay are taking their own siege camp. Chromie has this place filled with time traps, ready for any eventuality, ready to delay the taking of that altar as long as possible. Leoric being pushed away while this bruiser camp... Ooh, that almost took him out. Just a... If that Q from Falstad had come out at the same time, that was bye-bye Leoric. And now both teams are going to get the wall down, though I do think Death and Delay are going to be able to take this down before that turret falls. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Chromie is alone against two members of PSISTORM Dragoons. She didn't opt to go for one of the quests, instead going Time Walker's Pursuit, which allows her vision all across the map. And PSISTORM Dragoons is trying to sneak this bottom camp. It doesn't look like they're found out quite yet. Death and Delay on the other side of the map are looking at a very, very strong engage. They managed to take down Blaze. They're pushing this fort down with the help of Sylvanas. She's already used her black arrows. I don't think this fort is quite going to fall right now, but the health on it is very, very low. And just a single other push from Death and Delay should be able to take it down. And if they get Dragon, well, they know where to go. Ooh, that grenade going on to Sylvanas, very well played by the Tracer. Already Tracer is doing very, very well in this game so far. And we see already 27 stacks of Gathering Storm from the Falstad, which is also quite a lot at this point of the game. He's going to scale very well. Now, Death and Delay has both of the altars, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to channel. They might want to get a kill or two before they try to do that. Same goes for the other team. If you click on Tyrael, you can see his abilities in the lower left. Oh, lots of damage on Senpai. I've tried clicking on heroes to see their abilities, but the thing that appears in the lower left just won't disappear, and I don't know what to do to make it disappear. So I don't really dare clicking on heroes anymore. Huge ult by Tyrael going on to the Sylvana. She's not going to be able to escape, but those slowing sands are very, very painful to walk through. Chaos Pigeon, though, has a teleport, and now, with both shrines owned by PSISTORM Dragoons, it looks like they might be able to just cap this first objective. And let's look at the ultimates that they picked. We have Judgment, which we just saw, Seven-Sided Strike, Mighty Gust, which I was expecting and I love to see, Bunker Drop, and Sticky Bomb. And on the side of Death and Delay, we have Slowing Sands, which we saw already, Wailing Arrow, Cocoon, which we expected, Entomb, and Ancestral Healing. And I can't wait to see those Entomb plays with maybe Slowing Sands and Wailing Arrow on top of them. Wailing Arrow into an Entomb is basically a we have Buried Alive at home, which I quite love. That or a Stukov Puddle can do the job just fine. Make it disappear, press 1E, or you click on a minion, and it disappears when the minion dies. Thank you so much! So let's look at it. It's called Eldruin's Might. Oh, that's what you were saying in the chat. I apologize, I haven't been reading all of the chat because there's just so much action on the screen, rather. We're not screaming here just yet. We see Judgment going on to that Rhaegar. He tries to use Ancestral Healing on himself, but it's not going to land in time. Now Anubrak is in a lot of trouble. We see that Wailing Arrow falling onto the Tracer, making her unable to teleport away. She's going to die, so it's 1-2-1. Oh, now I have to reset the zoom, but it works. It does work. I don't have that thing in the bottom anymore. So, PSISTORM Dragoons managed to do a decent bit of damage on that bottom fort, but Death and Delay did just as much without a dragon on the other side. Dragoons, though, has the experience advantage, and it's a full level at least that they have on their opponents. So I'm hard-pressed to say which team has the advantage so far, but I'd say PSISTORM Dragoons, just because of how impactful experience is, might be looking at an advantage right now.
There must always be a dragon.
Both teams looking at a potential engage, none of them committing. That siege camp is going to be taken out before it does too much, or will it? PSISTORM Dragoons is trying their best to protect their siege camp before it falls, but it is going to fall before it reaches the fort. But meanwhile, that is a lot of lane pressure from MDC in the top lane. Will he be able to take that fort down? There's a huge engage in the bottom. I think that was Kerosene being taken out by the Cocoon.
Red team has destroyed a fort.
But no kills are going to be found. Leoric finds the fort destruction that he was looking for. Now he's going to join his team for an Entomb, potentially. And he gets a Nubarak, unfortunately for him. Now Blaze is alone to soak in that top lane. If Leoric misses too much experience there, it's going to widen the gap. Each team having one shrine at this time. We see both of the offlaners double soaking as best they can. I do think Leoric has a slight advantage when it comes to that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now both altars going to Death and Delay, but the full team of PSISTORM Dragoons is on the offensive in the bottom lane. They're not going to quite find the stun that they were looking for to engage. It missed by so very little. They're going to see that camp being taken and they decide to go for an invade. They have the full team ready for the offensive. Seven-sided strike doing a lot of damage to that Anubarak, but Tracer's going to fall. Senpai barely escaping with his life. The Entomb goes down but doesn't manage to find quite a lot of value. And Death and Delay walks out of this with the advantage. The experience gap that they're suffering is narrowing, and it looks like both teams are going to make it to level 16 at about the same time. Oh, what a play from Tyrael, using his sword, his whatever the name of the sword is, I keep forgetting, to delay the objective from being taken just in time for Blaze to take that bottom shrine, or bottom... is it a shrine? I don't know. I am very confused tonight. But that was very, very well played. I loved it, using the jukes. Now Leoric is very, very far in, but thankfully he has a spooky ghost to escape. Oh, he is taking a lot of damage. He's going to be stunned, and there it is. He's gone. Now it's PSISTORM Dragoons that might be able to take this objective with their 5v4 advantage, because if Death and Delay tries to fight them for too long, they might get even more deaths on their side. And there it is. PSISTORM Dragoons get the second Dragon Knight of this game. And they're going to walk it towards that bottom lane. They want to finish what they've started. And this fort is all but gone at this point. Death and Delay are going to have to retreat to their keep and try to defend there. Sylvana's being bumped away, but I don't think she cares that much. Sowing Sands onto the dragon aren't going to do a whole lot either. Very good defense by Death and Delay, but that is a huge Entomb with Wailing Arrow in the middle are going to find 2 kills. Death and Delay finding a very, very good combo to turn things around on PSISTORM Dragoons, and now they have the map basically for themselves for the next 20 or so seconds, and they're going to use that advantage to take down this fort. Meanwhile, Blaze isn't he isn't sitting on his laurels. He's taking this camp with the help of Tracer. The fort is going to fall, and Death and Delay are hungry for more. They're looking for this middle fort. It's still a few seconds before Kerosene goes back up, so they're going to get that fort. Now all forts are down from PSISTORM Dragoons. But still, Blue Team is doing a fantastic job of soaking. Despite all of their losses, they still have a slight experience advantage. It's very narrow, but if they can get to level 20 first and use that slight time window to get a fight, they might be able to get a lot of value. They're going to get this bottom camp without any interruption. And it's going to be pushing against that siege camp. And that is a full 5-man team of PSISTORM Dragoons looking to use that spell shield to their advantage. A nice stasis there by Delta Sniper to avoid the bomb damage, which could have been very, very damaging. And now they're looking to finish the job that they started on the wall. Very good. 7-sided strike going onto Leoric, melting him down completely before he can escape. And a 3-man stun by Blaze is going to be followed by Condemn, I think it's called. Judgment. Judgment is what it is. On the Chromie. A Gust is going to help PSISTORM Dragoons disengage. But then they just re-engage, looking for potentially more kills or damage onto that keep. They are doing so much, using the bunker to their full advantage to do a lot of damage on that keep without receiving any themselves. Very, very well played. I like that a lot. and that's going to be enough to take that keep down. Oh, but the Wailing Arrow going on to Tracer. Sylvana's using her tools to the fullest extent to take care of that Tracer. That was very well done. But now, PSISTORM Dragoons may have reached level 21st, but it's not going to last for very long. Death and Delay are just about to have their level 20s. And let's use this time to look at which talents were picked by both teams for those level 20s. We have Angel of Justice, Fist of Legend. We don't see that one very often. We have Wind Tunnel, which is very strong. Fortified Bunker and Get Stuffed. Oh, 7-sided strike onto the Anubarak. Those 7-sided strikes have been on point with the help of his team isolating the targets. On the side of Death and Delay, we have Piercing Sands, which is very, very strong as well. Both of the Storm, Rewind, Buried Alive, and Farseer's Blessing. Leoric telling Sylvanas, I don't need you anymore. I can bring my own silence to the team fights. Definitely looking forward to seeing more of those 7-sided strike plays. They've been very impactful this game, and 7-sided strike is almost ready already. A lot of damage going on to that Rhaegar, so many stuns, and he's not going to be able to heal himself, and so much going down on MDC. That 7-sided strike is not going to connect, but the huge Wind Tunnel takes care of Leoric, and now he's gone. And Chromie used her stasis to try and escape death, but it was inevitable, and now that is a lot of kills from PSISTORM Dragoons. They take this fort, they take the top shrine, and now this dragon is all but theirs. And wisely enough, Death and Delay rather is not going to try and interrupt it. They try to take this camp, but it gets taken away from them, and they can't resist with only the two of them there. Now, PSISTORM Dragoons has a very strong advantage. Death and Delay won't have the full team back together for another 20 seconds. That's probably a keep going down in the middle lane, but I don't think they quite have enough to end unless they can get more kills. Death and Delay are going to have to be very, very careful to defend without allowing those picks by PSISTORM Dragoons, but now almost all of the ults are up. So if they're looking for a pick, they are very likely to find it, and they're going to try and find it onto the Sylvanas, and she goes down. Slowing Sands onto the Tyrael are not going to affect him for very long. Just a very long stun onto that Kerosene, but he's saved by the bunker, and now PSISTORM Dragoons are back to a 5v4. The shield on the keep is down. Cocoon goes onto that Falstad, but he's freed by Kerosene very, very quickly. The core is at 40%, going down. PSISTORM Dragoons is concentrating their damage onto the core. Will it go down? Already two of their teammates are down, but now it's too much. They managed to take the core with them, and the first game of this series, 1-0 to PSISTORM Dragoons. All right, what a game! What a strong display by both teams, but especially PSISTORM Dragoons in the later stages of the game. I was unsure whether or not they were going to be able to go for a strong pick comp with the heroes that they had, but they made it work so very well to an extent that I know for sure wouldn't happen very often in Division E. Very impressive. I love to see it. Chromie doing a ton of damage. Sylvanas doing incredible silences. But that combo, Tyrael's Judgment, I think it's called. Let's just verify Judgment. That's the one. That Tyrael's Judgment with Kerasim's 7-sided strike on top of it was insane. And let's look at those talents. If you liked the way that those players played their games and you'd like to emulate it in your own games, feel free to copy this, screenshot it, make it what you want. Have fun. That's what they're for. We're going to go to a short break very shortly. And I'll read some of chat in the meantime so I can have some some interesting things to say. And we'll be right back in just a minute with Game 2. We're back for our Game 2, and it's going to happen on Towers of Doom, picked by PSISTORM Dragoons. Hi, Bloody Drakes. Glad to see you here. Hope you enjoy the games and the stream and the casting. And I'll set the record straight. My favorite offlaner is Bloody Drapes. But I'm a little biased. He does some fantastic work in our team Cho'Gall and the Chocolate Factory and Div E East. So it's hard not to have him as favorite. Hey Thanks for watching. I'm really glad to see you here. So, yeah. Second game is going to be on Towers of Doom, which, if you're looking for a map where everything and anything can happen, a map where the game's not decided until the very last shot is fired, well, this is it. I wouldn't say Towers of Doom is one of my favorite maps in general. I do like it. But as a caster and a watcher, I think it would be in my top 3 because of how insanely anti-snowball it is. I don't know how else to say it, but it's very interesting of a map. You never know what's going to happen. Alright, letting the team know that I am ready. I don't know, do you play D.Va, Drapes? I don't think I've seen you play D.Va, have I? She's not one of your strongest ones. But we have a fantastic D.Va player on our team, and her name is Autumn. So, we've got that figured out. Either way, let's go for the draft. It has begun. Already, Death and Delay is banning Lucio, which I believe is what they did last game as well. They're sticking to their guns. Let's see if PSISTORM Dragoons opts to ban the same, and they do. Joanna ban once again. keeping it away from the first pick of Death in Delay. And I still really hope to see a weird comp from PSISTORM Dragoons. They tend to play those weirder comps on Dragonshire, with either double healer or Abathur comps, but I'm crossing my fingers we'll see something tonight of that of that vein. I just love to see weird games. They're so entertaining. This time, they PSISTORM Dragoons banned the Sylvanas, and as soon as that Sylvanas ban went true, MDC picks his Blaze, which seems to be a comfort pick, and that Blaze is going to be potentially very strong for Death in Delay. Anduin and Tychus picked from PSISTORM Dragoons. Love the Tychus pick especially. I wonder if they're going to be wanting to go for Diablo, but if so, it's going to be tough for them because there's 2 picks and 2 bans incoming. Brightwing and Vala picked by Death in Delay. Brightwing very strong on this map. She's the first global we're going to see on this game. On the second game, Uther banned once again by PSISTORM Dragoons, which makes me think that Death in Delay probably plays a very good Uther. But I'm not entirely sure. We see Genji being banned. I like that. I like to see some things like that. I am so excited for these next two picks by PSISTORM Dragoons. I'm hoping for something weird. The weirder the better. Yes! We get a Lost Vikings game! I am so happy! and PSISTORM Dragoons, this isn't a BM pick by any means. They have experience playing weird heroes like that, and they love to take their opponents by surprise, and I'm so happy we're going to see something like that in this second game. I hope it works well for them. I'm not favoring any team in particular, but I just love those weird picks. And we're going to see Varian and Zarya on the side of Death in Delay, and I particularly like Varian and Blaze in the same team, because either of those could be the offlaner and either of those could be the tank, and I can't wait to see which is which. They have that option. And Zarya, slightly unusual pick, but it looks like they're going to go for a hyper carry Vala kind of comp, which is very strong. Lunara, last pick from PSISTORM Dragoons, very solid pick as well. Vikings is great on towers. I bet it is. We're going to go to a short intro video provided by Raka. And we'll be right back in the map itself.
Oh, a swap! Oh no, but a swap followed by a light
Dead
bulb.
here. 4-man mosh pit followed by a tomb. Oh no! Oh, a huge light bomb coming in on the Genji, and that's a 5-man light bomb. They're gonna follow up, and they're gonna get 1, 2, 3 kills.
And it's gonna be everybody dying. Oh my god, when does this happen? Everybody's dead.
We're loading into Towers of Doom, this second game of this fantastic Division A East match. On the left side of the map, rocking the blue colors,
10 seconds.
customary to the Protoss, which their main name is based on, we have PSISTORM Dragoons, with Chaos Pigeon on the Anubarak, Senpai on Lunara, Luna's Gwen on Anduin, Gambling on the Lost Vikings, yes, you heard that right, Bramble on Tychus. And on the right side of the map, rocking the red colors, It is Death and Delay, with MDC on Blaze, Delta Sniper on Brightwing, Paper Tanks on Vala, Mac Daddio on Zarya, and Sparklark 118 on Varian. And you make a very good point, Raka. It is pretty hard for a Twin Blades Varian to double soak, which I hadn't thought about, but that's very strong on this map. Ooh! Vala's taking a lot of poison damage. Brightwing is barely going to be able to save her life with the combined efforts of her E and her passive healing. Why did I forget the name of her E ability? Pixie Dust. I swear to gosh, I play Brightwing all the time. Anyway, we see camp being taken first by PSISTORM Dragoons. It doesn't look like Death and Delay are going to try and interrupt it. Meanwhile, to respond to the threat from TLV, they have both Varian and Blaze soaking. They're doing a 1-1-3, but that does mean that if they try to take this camp, PSISTORM Dragoons has the potential to invade it and have a 4v3. It's going to be a lot harder for Death and Delay to take their camp as a result, because if they want to have Varian rotate down to help them, then Gambling can do potentially a lot in the middle lane. But we'll see what they decide to do. Now they're simply trying to keep the camp of PSISTORM Dragoons from doing too much damage to their gate, but already it's taken quite a lot. No important building has fallen. Varian going down, using taunt onto the Anubrak. Lots of damage to follow up. Very well played. Anubrak goes down, and now's the time for PSISTORM Dragoons to take some stuff on the map. Like this camp, right here.
The orders will rise shortly, heroes. Be ready. You must capture them quickly.
Now they're looking for a potential gank, but that very good Chastise from Luna's Gohan is going to stop that in its track. Mac Daddio taking a lot of damage. That Lunara doing fantastically in the chase with her movement speed. Very hard to run away from the Lunara, and now Varian is in a lot of trouble. He's going to be... Ooh, will he get away? Barely. Great heals by Delta Sniper.
The Raven Lord demands it.
Gambling is on the interrupt, using his fast little Eric to do hit and run tactics, but now Eric is in danger. He's going to run away very, very fast. And that tower is going to go to Death and Delay. So 2 towers for Death and Delay and 1 for PSISTORM Dragoons early on. But as we know, that means very, very little on this map. Dragoons are going to get their level 7 slightly ahead, it looks like. And they have a very small window with their level 7s. Death and Delay still are looking to do some damage to that bottom gate. Now they have their level 7. This camp is being taken a little sneakily. It looks like Varian's going to peek at it and see that it's being taken. Now Death and Delay are looking for a an invade, but they're positioned a little weird. Now they group up. A lot of damage going on to Bramble, but oh, Anubrak tries to peel, but Vala goes on the chase and manages to take Tychus down. And that camp is basically Death and Delay's to take. Meanwhile, though, that TLV is very, very effective at soaking both top and bottom continuously. But Blaze is doing a good job, all things considered. That experience lead is not that big for Dragoons. Oh, nice engage by Varian, but the counter, the peel from Anubrak is on point. Good reflexes from Chaos Pigeon to keep his ally alive. Now it's 1 tower, 2 towers at the top, 1 on each side.
Now.
Gambling is going to try and look for another interrupt with Fast Eric. Ooh, are they going to look at trying to take this tower? I don't know if they can. Dragoons is trying to do a lot of damage in that bottom lane while TLV is delaying that tower from being taken as long as possible. They get the entire wall down, a little bit of damage onto the fort. Overall, not a lot, but still. Any damage you can do to that bottom fort early on is massive. They have their level 10s now, but for a very, very short period of time. They're looking to take that window, but it's not going to last for the entirety of this camp. Odin is popped. Light Bomb onto the Anubarak is going to find 2 targets, but Anubarak is very low. We see, what is Gravel Bomb? What is it called again? Graviton Surge. It's not going to be able to secure a target, but Death and Delay are going to be able to take this camp after Anubarak's death. Let's look at those level 10 talents. We have Cocoon, Thornwood Vine, Light Bomb, Play Again, and Commandeer Odin, which, as opposed to what a lot of people, the way that a lot of people pronounce it, is not Commander Odin, it's actually Commandeer Odin. Fun fact. Anyway, on the side of Death and Delay, we have Bunker Drop, Blink Heal, Rain of Vengeance, Graviton Surge, and Shield Wall to complement that taunt. Ooh, that Anubarak taking a lot of damage again. Zarya doing a surprising amount of damage when her energy is all the way up. And Vala with the kill in the end. That has got to hurt. One objective is about to pop. Definitely looking to grab this camp shortly before it does. TLV still doing a lot in this top lane, but Blaze is doing a fantastic job in keeping up. He's been working 24/7 around the clock to keep that experience lead that PSISTORM Dragoons is trying to get from widening. And now it's Death and Delay that has a slight experience lead, so it's quite equal still. Oh, beautiful leap of faith onto Tychus, saves his life from the Graviton Surge and all the damage. There's a lot of damage that has been done onto this fort, and I don't think Death and Delay are going to be able to destroy it quite yet. But whenever they can get a pick with that taunt that they have, they might be able to use that opportunity to just go and take it. And that's going to give them a huge advantage further into the game. I am actually mad respect for MDC for keeping up with the Lost Vikings. It has to be really hard to do. I wouldn't be able to do that. Very well played. Cocoon goes onto the Varian, and Light Bomb onto the Anubarak. The kill is secured onto Brightwing. Very, very good engage. And Graviton Surge is going to be used to secure the escape of the rest of Death and Delay's team. Now, this camp's going to go over to Dragoons without much interruption. Varian pokes, but he can't really engage. The next tower is going to be in the middle. Dragoons is looking to try and use that camp to do some damage. It's going to be taken care of very, very quickly, though. There's a lot of damage on the side of Death and Delay, especially when that Zarya's energy bar is charged.
Do not disappoint me.
And now both teams are looking at a 4v4 fight. Blaze is actually rotating down to help, which means that the Lost Vikings are going to have some time to push on their own. They have to take this objective, and they will. So despite Blaze rotating, they're getting a lot of value from him coming here, securing the objective for his team. I really like MDC's play so far in this game. Very, very convincing. Very good offlaning. And now it's a 4v4 fight onto this camp, but it looks like Dragoons, they're going for the counter engage. They're looking for blood. We see the light bomb connecting with three people. Grabbed on Surge, locks Anubarak down, but he uses the cocoon onto the Varian. Will Varian be able to escape? He still has a very large amount of health. And the shields from Zarya now. Death and Delay are looking for a potential pick onto the Tychus. He still has Odin going on, and he does a lot of damage. But it's only 3 people to 4. They're getting whittled down little by little. That was a very good engage by Dragoons, but an even better reaction by Death and Delay. To manage to take down that Anubarak and expose the soft backline of Dragoons. Anubarak is the only frontline that Dragoons has, and as soon as it falls, then the rest is very exposed to all the damage that PSISTORM has. And they're going to take this fort, which is very, very important on this map. Because you can run 6... I'm not sure what those camps... Sappers, I think they're called, right? Anyway, you can run 6 sappers down this lane and potentially get 6 points off of your opponent's core if they're not careful. And now it's theirs. Both teams still equal on experience. That Brightwing is going to take that tower, ready to jump in with phase shift if needed. Ooh, a stun onto the Tychus takes 1/3 of his health down. Dragoons is desperately trying to find an angle to engage onto Death and Delay to try and take this fort back, but they're not quite finding it. And TLV is doing such a good job at interrupting MDC. Oh, and Gambling is using the distraction tactics to distract MDC in the middle lane while taking that tower at the same time. I love to see those plays. That is a very good Lost Viking player. Now they're going to take this camp. Dragoons did manage to take this fort back, which I unfortunately didn't see. I do consider what I saw, though, to be very, very good.
I have opened a tunnel near our core that leads to the battleground center.
MDC's looking to do some damage to those Vikings, but that, what's his name? Olaf, right? Olaf is very resilient. Now there's a big fight around this camp. Vala in a lot of trouble. She's going to be able to dash away. Gambling trying to get the last hit, but that shield from Zarya is going to ensure Vala stays alive. There was a kill onto that one Viking. I think it's the first death that any of the Vikings get. I think it's the second, actually. Still, those Vikings are doing a great job of staying alive. Which is more than I can say for most of the people I see playing the Lost Vikings in Storm League. Now Death and Delay is trying to get this fort taken down once again as the objectives are popping up, but will they be able to get a pick that they want? A very good stun by the Varian, but not enough follow-up. And Commandeer Odin is used slightly ahead of the objective. It's not going to be available for that objective. Lunara already channeling Chaos Pigeon on the defensive. Ooh, and the interrupt goes in just before she manages to get that tower. And now she's pumping that damage onto Sparkle Arc. So much poison onto him. But the heals of Brightwing and the shields are barely going to keep him alive. That tower, no, still being interrupted. It looks like it's going to go over to Dragoons. There's still one in the middle, though. There is lane pressure in both top and middle from the Vikings, however. Ooh, Blaze is in a lot of trouble. That Tychus is going to town, but he's going to be saved by that bunker, buying him enough time for his team to come to the rescue. Now Tychus is in trouble. He falls. Gambling's Vikings taking some damage as well. And that objective is going to go over to Death and Delay. And this game is so very equal still in this game. Another Viking falls. I think the ganks might be something that Death and Delay might want to do to get rid of those Vikings. That one gank certainly worked. But also that bottom lane is very, very important to get pushed at all times. I am very, very impressed at how equal this game is so far. Just like Game 1 was. It could turn around in a moment, but this is Towers of Doom. You never know until it's over. No pick is going to be found now that the Lost Vikings are... I was going to say they're staying together, but now they're separating again. Blaze is aggressively looking for a kill, but he's not going to commit to it. He has more experience and to soak and minions to kill. Lots of damage onto that fort. Death and Delay has a lot of poke, especially that Zarya if she can charge up her energy a little bit. Oh, so much damage onto the Lunara. Good communication by Death and Delay. That light bomb is not quite going to connect with a lot of people. Commandeer Odin being used. But now that fort is certainly going to fall. And there is still a bit of time, a minute and a half before those two camps come up. So if Death and Delay manages to keep that fort up until then, they might be able to push in a lot of minions down that lane and force Dragoons to react. For now though, there's only one tower going up. Vikings, while this whole engagement was happening, did a lot of damage to those other towers. Now they're trying to escape the gank. I like the movement on those TLV. Separating the Vikings from one another. But two of them are going to fall. It looks like the third one as well. All the Vikings are gone. MDC taking this opportunity to take the camp now that the top and mid lanes are not being pushed constantly. And it looks like Death and Delay has a very strong objective going into the late game. 8 points advantage on their core. They have that bottom fort. It's very low on health, but it is theirs. MDC doing a strong push onto the top lane, which is probably going to take this fort down as well, unless Senpai can quickly take care of those minions. Oh, the fort is still very low. And now the sapper camps are available, and they're going to be taken by Death and Delay. Dragoons is not out of this by any means, but it's going to be a lot tougher for them to win this game than it is for PSISTORM Dragoon, for Death and Delay rather, to simply press their objective on. Cocoon goes onto the Vala, quickly taken care of though. Light Bomb is going to connect with Brightwing. She takes a lot of damage, constantly stunned into non-existence, but the same can be said of Anubarak, and he falls as well. 1-2-1. Oh, Senpai taking so much damage from the Vala! Vala with those fantastic plays. Death and Delay are going to keep this fort theirs. Tychus is doing a lot of damage to it. Will he be able to take it back before that tower is channeled? Thanks to Gambling's help, it looks like it's going to be the case. But it's still a lot of core damage from Death and Delay. If that Olaf hadn't interrupted that bottom channel, I think Death and Delay would have ended the game right there. Now they're looking to do just that by taking this boss. But Dragoons know that it's going on, and they're on top of it. They're going for the engage onto the boss. They get 2 kills with the light bomb onto that onto the enemy team. They get the boss. Very well played. Now that's 4 damage going onto the enemy core. They're still very, very low on core health. It's 1-14, but for now at least they avoided annihilation, and that's going to keep them in this game and give them a chance to potentially turn things around. Oh, they're looking for a pick onto the Vala. She went a little too far trying to see if she could try and contest this camp. But it's going to cost her life. She tries to dash away, but right into the stun of a Nubarak. Securing this kill, and now that bottom fort might be theirs, as well as the top fort that was taken by the Vikings. Vikings are also doing a lot of damage to that middle fort, and the entire team of Dragoons is sandwiching onto that fort, taking it. All 3 forts belong to them. All your base are belong to us, they say. And now a barrage is raining down on the core of Death and Delay. Will we get a spectacular turnaround? They're doing everything they can to stop the barrage from coming. They do reclaim this top fort. They took 2 shots before being able to take this back. This objective is all Dragoons, though. There's no way that Death and Delay can get there in time, so that means 6 more shots onto Death and Delay's core, bringing the total to 1 to 6. What a game! Now they're taking this fort back. I'm guessing they're going to go for this bottom one next, which means that the next objective is most... Oh. Look at the Lost Vikings taking this opportunity to try and be as annoying as they can on the northern side of the map. Dragoons does not want to let this fort go either. They want this turnaround, they need it. They're doing everything they can. The fort looks like it's going to go down to... Oh, beautiful light bomb. Somewhat being mitigated by that bunker, however. Definitely takes back their fort, but they're going to lose the top one. Lost Vikings playing so well this game. So much value out of that TLV. I love that they decided to go for it. So now, it's very much anybody's game. Definitely trying to go on the kill on the TLV. They've had enough of their antics. They want to limit it as much as possible, but I think it's... what is it called? Play Again was used to make sure that all those Vikings are back together. 2 objectives are popping up, and with the way that things are going, Dragoons needs to get both of them. Oh, but the stun onto Lunara, she's quickly picked off, turning the fight into a 4v5 for Dragoons. They're going to try and engage as hard as they can to try and make something happen. They have to. This is their last chance. If they don't win here, they don't win at all. But 2 of their heroes are going to fall, followed by Tychus. TLV trying their best, but they're going to die as well, and now GG is called with a very, very close game. Death and Delay takes game number 2, 0-1. Very, very well done. What a game. Oh, I loved every second of it. Let's go to the summary. Look at the experience and siege damage on those Vikings. Insane, just insane plays out of gambling. That made me so happy to see. But I can't overstate how good MDC's Blaze was at trying to counter those Vikings, and he managed to stay equal in experience all game long. Despite TLV being so good at getting that experience, the team of Death and Delay having great combos with the Variant Taunt, Vala Hyper Carry doing what she does best with that 113,000 hero damage, Zarya keeping her team alive with the help of Brightwing, both of them coming in very, very clutch at some moments, barely managing to save their teammates. I also very much liked those light bombs. They were very, very well timed and very well executed. Lunara's damage was insane, as well as Tychus's Odin, and Anubarak's cocoons were very good, but unfortunately for Dragoons, they were melted down so quickly by by Death and Delay that they didn't get a whole lot of value overall. Let's look at those talents. If you like the way that those players played their games and you want to emulate it in your own games, then here they are. Hopefully you can try them out and have some fun. And we've got ourselves a game number 3. Let me update the score before I forget. There it goes. We've got ourselves a game number 3, which I'm very excited about. We're going to go to a very short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. We have our third and final map for this very awesome series. This time it's going to be Battlefield of Eternity. I think it's fair to call Battlefield of Eternity a community favorite. It's such a fun map with a unique mechanic that has a completely different meta than most other maps do. And that's going to make Draft very interesting, that's for sure. I think it's fair to expect a different set of bans, as well as different priority picks. And if one thing's for sure is that the Lost Vikings are not going to appear this time around. Or who knows, I don't think it would be very good, but who knows. But we could always be surprised. Also, Bloody Drapes will always be my favorite. It's a locked set #1 spot for offlaners, but that doesn't keep me from being impressed at the plays of other players. MDC and Gambling both played so well in this last game, and I'm considering how close it was. Every single player on either team had an enormous impact on the outcome.
Rise, my champion.
Thanks for the follow, that Duke. Very appreciated. Hope you enjoy the casting and
Arise,
the experience as a whole. Thank you so much, Eternally Blue TV, as well, for the follow. Very appreciated. We're going to move on to draft as we're loading into it. Alright, Battlefield of Eternity. If you know either of those teams, let me know in the chat what you're expecting to see on either side for this map, or maybe what you're excited to perhaps seeing, what you're hoping will happen. We see Li Ming as a first ban. As I thought, the ban's slightly different this time around. And Dragoons has the first pick, which means that I made a small mistake in thinking that they had picked a map this time. It was picked by Death and Delay. Either way, Junkrat banned by Death and Delay. Very good hero at poking and doing a lot of damage from afar and controlling the battleground. Joanna banned once again by PSISTORM Dragoons. Despite having the first pick, they don't want to face it. I wonder what else they have in mind for their first pick. I can't wait to see it. You thought it was a rule to always end a series on Towers of Doom. I didn't know that was a tendency for NGS. But, you know, I'm really happy to have a Game 3. That always gets me super excited, especially with how close Game 2 was. It was so good. One of the best games I've watched in a long time. Vala is first picked by PSISTORM Dragoons, which, honestly, such a good pick on this map. That definitely excuses the Joanna ban. MDC picks the Blaze again, and we know he loves to play that Blaze, and he's very good on it. Uther being picked by MacDaddy. Uther was banned as a third ban in both previous games by Dragoons, which makes me think that MacDaddy probably plays a very good Uther for picking it early, preventing Dragoons from banning it again. Hager and Anduin picked by Dragoons. That Anduin was very good as far as I could see, and I'm excited to see it again. And Hager. I love to see Hager. Don't get to see a lot of games with Hager in them in Division E, so this is going to be fun. Also, I don't see him... Like, I don't think I've seen him on Battlefield of Eternity yet. I don't know if he has a good race or not, and I can't wait to see it. Anubrak banned by Death and Delay. Both teams tossing around the Anubrak, and now they decide that neither team is going to play it. Eternally Blue with the Let's Go Spark. Thanks for coming in and cheering on for your favorite team. Hope you enjoy the casting so far. We see Greymane being banned by Dragoons. Very good, solid ban, as Greymane is absolutely scary on this map. Both for taking camps and for the racing and against heroes. He just does so much. I'm thinking maybe we'll see some I was about to say it, Sylvanas. She's also very good on this map. Hanzo as well being picked. So Death and Delay has a lot of CC already. That is a lot of CC on their end. Dragoons goes for Lunara, and with their last pick, they're going to go for... They haven't picked their tank yet, so Muradin it is. Very good very good, well-rounded, all-around tank. Definitely has so much more CC than their opponent, which might be very, very scary, as all they really have to counter that CC is Anduin's Leap of Faith, and maybe Hager's Unstoppable Spin to a certain extent. They go for Diablo, putting even more CC onto their plate. Diablo has to dive in very deep, however, and he exposes himself to a ton of damage from PSISTORM Dragoons. So let me know in the chat which draft you like best. We're going to go to a very short intro video, and we'll be right back to the game itself.
Oh, a swap! Oh no, but a swap followed by a light
Dead
bomb.
here. 4-man mosh pit followed by Entomb. Oh no! Oh, a huge light bomb coming in on the Genji, and that's a 5-man light bomb. They're gonna follow up, and they're gonna get 1, 2, 3 kills.
And it's gonna be everybody dying. Oh my god, when does this happen? Everybody's dead.
Welcome to the third and final game of this series. Such a close series. I couldn't say who's going to win this. It's so exciting. On the left side of the map in the blue, we have PSISTORM Dragoons with Chaos Pigeon on Muradin, Senpai on Lunara, Luna's Gwen on Anduin, Gambling on Vala, and Bramble on Hager. And on the right hand side of the map in the red, we have Death and Delay with Sparkleark 118 on Diablo, Delta Sniper on Hanzo, Paper Tinks on Sylvanas, MacDaddio, still love that name, on Uther, and MDC on the Blaze once again. Raka saying, I like Death and Delay's draft. I do too. Imagine this. Blaze stun that gets maybe 3 or 4 people, like a very lucky stun, into a Uther stun ult, into a Hanzo stun ult, into all of the damage that Sylvanas can do, and suddenly you have a very, very dead team of PSISTORM Dragoons. But Dragoons has a ton of damage, and they have the Anduin to potentially save 1 or 2 people from certain doom if they're caught in that combo. And if they manage to get a pick onto Lunara, for example, or Uther, or even Hanzo, they could manage to do a little more. I do think they have a faster race as well, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh, so much damage going on to Sylvanas, but Uther is on the job. He's going to barely save her. He's very low on mana now, though. Hanzo went for the Scatter Arrow quest at level 1, and Uther went for Hammer of Lightbringer, which is going to enable him to do a lot of stunning. It's going to greatly reduce his stun cooldown, I believe. Oh, huge engage onto that camp. Death in the Lake going in strong. They're going to get the kill onto Muradin, and now they have this camp for themselves. Their heavy CC already taking its toll. Vala is going for the Q quest, Puncturing Arrow, which is very strong in racing. But I'd say that the auto attack quest can also do pretty well in racing if Vala doesn't die. And we have Journeyman cooking by the Hogger, sorry. Already that Uther is getting as many stacks as he can, already halfway through. Both teams at the same time doing their bruiser camp. As is customary on this map, they're both going to have lane pressure during this objective. We'll see which of them takes care of it better. And Death and Decay are already starting to race with Diablo in a bush trying to intercept. Vala already with the reset on her Q doing a lot of damage, but that Sylvanas is in a lot of trouble. Oh, she's going to miss her E! She's going to miss her teleport, and she goes down! And now that's a lot of stun going on to Hanzo, and he falls as well. And Dragoons might have just found that the winning... recipe for them to counter all of the CC from Death and Delay. I mean, if they're dead, they can't stun you. And now they're going on to the race, but the death timers are pretty short early on into the game. So both teams are going to be racing. Oh, a lot of damage onto the Uther. He's going to die. That Murden going on to the chase, supported by his trusty Vala. And now Dragoons has the advantage into the second half of the objective. They're going to have 3 of their toughest members on the defense, while Vala and Lunara go at it onto the Immortal. And it's theirs. First Immortal, usually pretty weak, but it's still an Immortal. Ooh, great stun chain by Death and Delay is going to secure the death of Muradin. It's only a 13-second death timer, but it's still something. They have a slight experience lead, nothing too big, but that means that they're going to have a little bit of time to hit that Immortal without interruption. Taking the shield down as fast as they can. Murden and Anduin are running down the lane to try and help their Immortal, but it's probably going to fall before they arrive. And with that, only the wall is going to fall. The entire wall, though. Meanwhile, MDC putting some pressure in the top lane with this camp, a little bit of damage. He's going to get a little more done than the Immortal did. Those early Immortals are pretty weak, but they're going to ramp up in power as the game goes on. They're going to try and they're trying to initiate a stun chain onto the Muradin. He's taking a lot, stunned into a wall by Diablo, but he's taken away to safety by the Anduin. Both teams racing to their level 10s as fast as they can. They're both looking at this camp. Retreat was called, I believe, by Death and Delay. Neither of them is going to take it. Looks like they're both trying to fish for potential engage. A lot of damage going on to Senpai, but it's going to be healed almost instantly by Anduin. I love that Anduin combo with Desperate Prayer. It's so good. Now there's a lot of stuns going on to onto Sylvanas. She takes so much damage. The poison is taking her down. She has no heals to help her. Oh, she barely manages to stay alive. But now the poison is onto Uther himself. He's going to die. Sylvanas survived with about 20 HP though. Now Dragoons has the space that they needed, the pick that they needed to take this camp, put some pressure in the bottom lane, and they're going to get to their level 10s first. But the experience lead that they have is very short. They're going to pick a Hortipult, Rain of Vengeance, Light Bomb, Thornwood Vine, and Avatar. While Death and Delay are opting to go for Apocalypse, even more stuns, Dragon Arrow as expected, Wailing Arrow, which is even more stun, Divine Storm as expected, and Bunker Drop. They're going to get a lot of damage onto that Hogger, making it fall. Now it's, oh, the W of Vala onto Hanzo takes him down. 1-2-1. But with the resources of Dragoons slightly lower, It's going to give some time for Death and Delay to race that Immortal down. Dragoons, though, using that time to take this camp, not letting any time unused. First half of this objective going to Death and Delay. They're going to have to clear some of that pressure that was created by that bottom camp. And now Dragoons is on the defense, or on the attack rather. So much damage to this Immortal. They have so much race potential. And now they're back having the advantage again in this objective. Death and Delay struggling to try and defend their Immortal. They're going to have to win the team fight if they want to take the objective. Dragon Arrow goes down, connects with 2 people. No follow-up stun, however. The 2 targets are going to walk away. They did take a lot of damage, though. It's still a 5v5 fight. MDC taking a lot of poke damage, walking away. And no more progress has been done by either team in taking this objective. Both are looking at each other very aggressively. Hager trying to do some damage. He did manage to find some onto the Immortal. Death and Delay wants to make something happen. They go on the offensive, trying to bait someone out. The stun chain has begun. Huge light bomb onto 2 players of Death and Delay. 2 players, 1 player on each team falls. That's a 4v4. MDC's taking a lot of damage. That Vala is trying to finish the deal. Oh, so much poison onto Paper Tanks. Will he fall this time? He does. And with Blaze also dying, as well as Uther, that has sealed the deal. And Dragoons is taking the 2nd Immortal of the game with a little bit less shield this time, but it is slightly stronger than it was before. And now they're looking at not just taking this gate, but potentially trying and taking this fort. I don't know if they'll find it. The death timers are still low enough that Death and Delay are back up to try and contest this and stop it in its tracks. But there's still some shields, making the Immortal ranged, taking less tower shots because of it. Now it's in melee mode and it's attacking this tower with all of its might. I think it's going to fall before the tower does. Before the fort does, rather. Ooh, lots of stuns going on to that Murden, but he's going to be taken out. Light Bomb connects on 2 people. But Murden falls, but that's so much damage that was accumulated by Death and Delay while they were stunned. Now all of their resources are down. That Immortal managed to finish the fort in the meantime. Uther desperately healing his teammates so that they don't fall. Succeeding in doing so, at least. Oh, huge gank onto MDC, bypassing the fort completely, but that bunker is going to save his life. And now Dragoons are in a slightly weird position. They're going to pick Ramble. He's going to fall. That choke being very, very favorable to Diablo's abilities. And still, the experience is so similar for both teams. What a match we're having tonight. So back and forth. Both teams are going to take a camp each. This Bruiser camp is about to come up as well. But that's going to be happening, that's going to be available soon. Death and Delay is going to take this fort down very, very fast, helped by the Black Arrows. But meanwhile, I love this play by Dragoons. They're going to take that opportunity to steal this camp uncontested. Very good reaction, not what I would have expected, but I like it. They get value nonetheless. Death and Delay, however, is clearing this camp so fast. It didn't have time to do anything. Well, except perhaps keep them busy in the top lane. While Dragoons takes their own Bruiser camp, and that's going to push in the bottom lane, potentially taking this fort while the objective is up, if Death and Delay doesn't deal with it. But if they do deal with it, then they have less bodies around the objective. And there it is, both teams looking at a potential opportunity to pick one another off. Both trying to find an opening. Dragon Arrow connects with 2 people, followed by an Apocalypse that's not going to quite connect, but Uther is going to use his ult on 4 people. So strong. He's going to go down. Now there's a lot of stuns going on to Diablo. He regenerates so much HP. Going to take down Murd, and now they're looking to take down that Hogger, but Sylvanas is dying. Lunar doing so much damage, poison on the entire enemy team. MDC is in trouble. Will he get to his fountain in time? Oh, but is it enough? It's just barely enough to save him. With the amount of health he has, the regeneration is just slightly higher than the poison damage. Now, Dragoons has level 16s, managed to get a few more kills. It looks like this 3rd objective in a row is going to go to them, but Death and Delay are not ready to give this up. Even though the health of their Immortal is quite low, they're looking to make something happen. A lot of stuns going on to that Murden, but Anduin is going to save him. See Dragon Arrow popping out. Magdadio in a lot of trouble. He's going to die. Going to try and help his teammates escape. No, he doesn't manage to find a heal. And with that, PSISTORM Dragoons gets their 3rd Immortal this game. Getting themselves a very strong lead into this 3rd game. I really liked the draft for Death and Delay, but so far Dragoons have been playing their game so well, avoiding all of the stuns, all of the stun chains from Death and Delay. They've been able to take a lead in this game. I'm very impressed by their play. Now this is a very strong Immortal. That's going to knock at the gate of Death and Delay straight onto their keep. It looks like the shield is going to go down shortly before it reaches the keep. But that keep might still go down. Already half of its health is gone. Death and Delay not daring to quite engage onto that Immortal because those stuns last for a very long time. The keep falls. Dragoons are not going to overstay their welcome, however. They know they can't end with this Immortal. Instead, they're going to try and solidify their lead by taking camps. Augur going for the bottom camp. And with all of Death and Delay going top, he's going to have free reign. Oh, no, he's coming back to try and help. So Dragoons might be looking at a counter engage. Lots of slows going on to that Uther. The Dragon Arrow connects though, followed by Uther's stuns. But Uther is very, very low, and he tries to run away. Vortipult being used to try and block his retreat. He's doing everything he can to escape. Now Diablo's in a lot of trouble. Magdadio falls nonetheless. And now Dragoons might be looking at a win condition. Both MDC and Delta Sniper are low on health. They're going to have to retreat to their Altar of Storms. Paper Tanks trying their best to put some damage. Chaos Pigeon on the stun. Unstoppable is used. The shields of that core are down. Dragoons are not going to commit, however.
Red team's core is under attack.
They're going to instead look at taking camps, not wanting to take too much of a risk. And that core is going to remain at 100% for now. Next objective is coming up, and now level 20s are right around the horizon. But Death and Delay are coming up now. They're finally back to a 5-man team. So if they want to make something happen, it might have to be before 20s are online for PSISTORM Dragoons. And they're going to have to take full advantage of their high amount of CC that they have. Because Dragoons has such a high amount of race. I don't think Death and Delay can race to them. That Hanzo does a lot of damage, but I don't think that's quite enough. They're going to have to try and defend and win with the team fight. We see one charge of Leap of Faith being used. Now, Death and Delay are trying to race. They're fighting under that Immortal, though, which is a very dangerous ground. Ooh, a lot of stuns connecting onto the Sylvanas. She's going to use Unstoppable to escape. Now, MDC's in a lot of trouble, going to use his dash to try and escape, but he goes down, as well as Diablo. And now it's a 4v3 for Dragoons. And without both of their front lines, it's going to be hard for them to try and contest this objective. Dragoons still has Hogger to tank some damage. And with all of the race that they have, they're going to take this Immortal very, very quickly. It's going to run down that bottom lane straight to the keep. And they have level 20s, and they will continue to have level 20 for probably the amount of time that Immortal is alive, which is huge for them. If they can get a kill or two, they can probably end. Death and Delay are going to have to be very careful and play their best game to turn things around. It's a very, very dangerous fight for them to take, but they have to take it. If they don't defend themselves, the game is over. That Immortal is going to town on the keep. Death and Delay doing a lot of damage to it, but I think the keep is going to fall first. And there it goes. It's gone. Dragoons isn't going to take that risk, playing very, very carefully in this game. Despite their level 20. I do like that they're playing carefully. I think I would have been... I would have taken that risk. But they're the wiser team. And with all of the stuns from Death and Delay, they have to weigh their engages very, very carefully, which is exactly what they've been doing so far this game, and it's been working great. But now, level 20s are online for both teams. We see Rewind, Intensifying Toxins, Inner Fire, Farlight Quiver, and Secret Stash from the side of Dragoons, while Death and Delay went for Bullseye, Bolt of the Storm, Redemption, Fortified Bunker, and Diablo hasn't chosen yet, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Hellgate being picked. He's holding on to it. Not sure exactly what he's waiting for. There might be some trick to Diablo about holding your level 20 so you can get extra value out of it. Or maybe it's just to deny information. Either way. Once the fight starts, we're likely to see exactly what he wants to get at that level 20. Uther just can't stop the damage from Vala and Lunara. That's very true. Uther is very good at preventing burst damage because of his trait, which gives armor to anyone he heals. But Lunara, and Vala to a certain extent, but especially Lunara, has a lot of damage spread over a long period of time, and that armor basically serves nothing. So those are two very good heroes for Dragoons to have picked against the Uther. I'm sure they planned that out very carefully. And already, they have half the health of that Immortal taken down. Ooh, a lot of stuns going on to the Hogger. Death and Delay using their stuns to their full advantage. They're going to do a lot of damage to Gambling. Stunned by the Diablo, going to find the pick. Vala goes down, and this might be what Death and Delay was hoping to get to turn this game around. They have a lot of pressure on their core, though. But they are almost certainly going to take this Immortal. And it's going to run through that top lane, giving them a potential avenue to turn this game around. They don't have structures. Dragoons has 3 of them, and 2 in the top lane, so that Immortal almost certainly can't get to core, but it is going to create an avenue for Death and Delay. That was a great leap of faith by Anduin, saving his ally from the ultimate of Uther. Divine Storm, that's the one. It's going to go on a very long cooldown. It's not going to be up for the next fight, most likely. It doesn't look like Dragoons are going to try and fight under that fort, which is very wise because those black arrows are going to make it basically just a cosmetic. But now black arrows are no longer available. They're not going to be used on the keep anytime soon. That Immortal still has shield, but it's going to lose them probably before it reaches that keep. Both teams being very careful in their positioning. Neither of them going too far in. Dragoons unleashing the strength of their immortal damage. Oh, Dragon Arrow followed by an Apocalypse. Going to do so much damage to the enemy team, but Uther is going to fall to the sheer amount of damage coming his way. Now Chaos Pigeon is in a lot of trouble, but so is that Diablo. He's going to avoid that Q from Vala just barely. MDC trying to walk away. Uther gives his life to try and save his team, but that is a Murden that can jump, but so can Hanzo. Dragoons taking the advantage in this fight. Now Death and Delay are in a little bit of trouble. They're trying to run for their lives, but it's a 4v5. We see that Hellgate being used by Diablo to save himself. Is Dragoons looking to end? Do they think... It looks like they think it might be enough to try and end. It's a slightly risky play with still 4 people on the field, but they're going to take that chance. They're going strong onto MDC, but he manages to dash away. And now they're trying to turn onto that Diablo, who also just walks... Oh, beautiful combo of the Light Bomb plus Dwarf Toss. Secures the kill. But that that Soul Stone was fully charged, and Diablo is right back up. But Hanzo dies to the Vala's relentless damage. 62% on that core. Blaze falls. It's a 5v4 for Dragoons. That Anduin doing so good with his healing. His team up almost full health this entire fight. And now they have sealed the deal with those additional kills. They take this core down. And this match goes over 2-1 to PSISTORM Dragoons. What a match this was. Incredible. Those games were so close. It gave me chills. It made my heart run, and I bet it did for you too. But if it did for us as spectators, I can't imagine how nerve-wracking it must have been for both teams during all 3 of those games. What fantastic plays we could witness tonight. That was awesome. Let's look at those stats real quick before we go into an interview. Vala with the top damage, Lunara not far behind, followed by Sylvanas. Uther dying quite a lot, unfortunately, but Uther, it's okay if he dies a little more because he has his trait that allows him to still heal from beyond the grave. I was very, very impressed by the Vala and Anduin, especially in this 3rd game. Those light bombs are so good. I main Anduin, and I don't do light bombs that good. This was an inspiration for me to take, that's for sure. Let's look at the talents real quick as well. If you liked the way that those players played their games, and all 10 of those players played fantastically, then look at those talents, copy them, use them for your own games, have fun with them. We're going to look for a winner's interview. I'm going to set up for that. We're going to go to a very short break, and I'll be right back for that.
What's up?
Hi. Congratulations for your victory.
Thanks.
There we go. Is that everyone?
I think so.
Well, I'm gonna say it again. Congratulations for your victory. This was not an easy win. You had to work very hard for this one. How do you feel?
Pretty good. Always happy to win a series. Like, we'll take all the points we can get right now.
Absolutely. I bet those 3 games must have made your heart your heart run, your blood pumping. I mean, it did me, and I'm simply an observer.
That second game did for sure.
It was
Whatever, it's
so
down to
close.
1-1.
Hashtag Lunara throw.
I think, for the record, that Senpai's Lunara was really, really good in both of those games. What I really want to bring attention to, though, is that Lost Vikings game. Gambling's Lost Vikings were incredible.
Yes.
Thank you. Not enough, I guess.
Hey, I mean, you were up against a pretty good offlaner in MDC. How did you approach that matchup against him? Because I don't know, if in my team, when we prepare for matches, the offlane matchup is always something that's very important. You know, it's half of the game, more or less. So how did you approach that?
Well, I'm not typically the offlaner. Maybe you've noticed that Bramble was the offlaner in both games, but
yes,
I'm a good Viking player, so it's a card that we have in our hand that we sometimes pulls out. It's in most situations, Viking wins pretty much any matchup. There's really nothing that a Blaze can do to stop Viking from like capping our side when it's top and poking at him when he's trying to cap his side when it's a 2-top objective. The only thing that they can do is they have to send someone from the 4-man top line in order to help him. So it's super annoying, and slowly, like the soak, I always out-soak any offlaner. There's not much that can be done. And at this point, it's all about like trying to macro as much as possible and being as much annoying as I can possibly be. And I think I did a good job at that, but in the end, it was super close still and couldn't pull it out. But man, I wish we did. We had I want to talk about the call. I'll let Chaos explain what was the final call that we missed our chance.
Oh, going for just finish off mid fort and get that one extra shot to win it. Whenever we're just trying to set up around the objective, pretty much wasting time.
But it could have worked for you. I still like that call. That was so very close. It's hard to say if making the call to go for both of the objectives would have paid off better, but either way, I think you did fantastic. But let's talk about the games that you did win. On Dragonshire, looking through your history, I saw that you love to play very weird comps on Dragonshire. I saw a lot of Abathur, for example, but this time you went for something a little more standard. What was your thought process when drafting for this map?
Kinda just like once we got into the lobby, we were planning on going like a lot more macro focused, and then it's just like, you know, why don't we just play Tyrael and Tracer? That sounds fun. Let's do it. And yeah, we ended up playing that.
It really worked out. In that first game, I was particularly impressed with you guys' coordination on Tyrael's what is the name of that ult again?
Judgment?
I keep forgetting.
Judgment,
there it is. With the Karazim 7-sided strike, you managed to get so many picks onto their front lines.
Yeah, having that extra, is it about 47% damage that just comes out. Any tank that thinks they're alright, just they lose half their health and the healer.
It's very difficult to react to, especially if you're being stun locked into it.
Yeah, we were talking about it. I felt like Most often than not, the only way that the Ragger would survive, because the Ragger can't cleanse himself, so he's like usually the target when you judgment. And if he ancestral right before the stun lands, then he has an extremely high chance of pulling it out and like making it happen. But in a lot of situations, he just used it after the judgment stun, and we were able to just destroy him. I mean, burst him down before the ancestral came in. I feel like this is a pretty tough one, but in terms of reaction, it's possible. It's just pretty hard for the Ragger to pull it in time.
Absolutely. It was a bit sad to see him get focused down so much like that. Also, the Falstad wind tunnels, rather. I have to mention that as well, because that was... I mean, wind tunnel is always a playmaker, and it's so satisfying when you can make it work.
Yeah.
It's
Like-
nice that we all had heroes that could attack the target in the wind tunnel, right? So like if they got blown away, we were all right there in 3 seconds.
Absolutely.
The struggle in that game, I think we were pretty much in control the whole time. The struggle was for me as the Tracer player getting silenced by the Sylph. She did a good job at getting these point blank silenced at very close range. Didn't really allow me time to react and see it coming. So she was definitely holding on to that silence for the Tracer, which he did a good job at shutting me down quite a few times. But if it wasn't for that, I think we would have been in a much better position. But still, did they get all the did we get all the dragons? I think we did, right?
Yeah, that's how you-
I
Might
think
have
you
got
did,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I think we did too. So we were like, obviously the Falstad helps a lot to get these objective going, capping bot or top, just using fly and making sure they can't cap even if we're down a man. So that worked out really well. And our whole plan was just basically run it down. That's the whole point of this comp. Like, there's no hiding it. Like Tyrael Judgment, Tracer, Karazim, you just run it down and hope you get a kill and keep chasing.
It sounds like a fun comp to play. I hope you don't mind if I steal that.
Oh no, go ahead. It's a really fun comp, no doubt about it.
I also wanted to talk about Battlefield of Eternity. Death and Delay went for a very, very CC heavy comp, and your team on the other side didn't have as much. How did you approach that matchup? How did you plan your engagements to prevent those stuns from landing?
Well, I kind
We
of
just
took
outranged
the
them.
stuns. I took all the stuns, and they didn't hit Vala or Lunara, and so they were able to clean up.
Yeah, they had a few good ultimates, but most of them they were not able to combo very well. Like their comp is very clear what they're trying to do. They have Enzo Arrow into APOC and they follow up with the Blaze Stun and Self Silence. It's very predictable in a way. So as long as we don't group up too much, we're not gonna allow them to have this massive wombo on 4 people, for example. And I think that was the big strategy, is like make sure we're not grouped up too much. Make sure Muradin is far enough from the front line, from the back line, so that if he gets arrowed, nobody else gets arrowed. And that happened a few times. And if Muradin can soak the first engage and pop Avatar, even if he dies, they threw everything at him. And it happens, I think, twice that like he just died, but they put so much into killing the Muradin that the rest of our team just was able to clean up because we had all our ultimates and they didn't have theirs.
I have to agree, Chaos Pigeon, your positioning on that Muradin was incredible. You soaked so much of that CC.
Oh, he was he
Yep,
he did.
and I also got 6 deaths, but we won the game. But thank you.
Well, Uther has 10 deaths, so it's really not too
Fair.
bad.
You really rained the pain on that poor Uther.
Yeah. You just walk up and then get hit in the face with a hammer,
Yeah, I mean,
and then have to eat our damage.
Lunara and Vala raining death from the backline while Muradin was making it impossible to reach them was a very scary thing to walk into, for sure.
That's the other nice thing about Lunara into Uther. he just can't keep up with her damage.
Yeah, because Uther is all about providing armor for his teammates with his trait, but Lunara doesn't care about armor. So that was
Not only that, he's bad at spread healing. So I don't know if you noticed the talent difference from the first Lunar to the second one, but I went to spread, so you just hit all of them with your damage, and Uther can't keep up. You just poke them down, and they just die over time.
I noticed every single time there was a strong team fight that your team won, it was mostly because that poison was on every single one of them, and they were running for their lives trying to heal themselves. That was very well played. So congratulations again. Not an easy victory, but a very strong victory nonetheless. Do you guys want to do a round of shoutouts?
Sure. Shout out to Death and Delay. Always been fun playing them. They make for great matches. Shout out to PSISTORM, just as an org. Like, they've been helping us out a lot. Whether it's just having other people to play against, or like actually just supporting us with helping us get coaches, stuff like that. But yeah. You guys
and shout out to you for casting this game.
Well, thank
it
you.
Must
it's
have
a
been
pleasure.
A pretty good one. Like, there's some games that are like very one-sided, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of one team getting destroyed. But this whole match, the whole series, I think it must have been pretty exciting to cast. As a caster myself, like it's fun when you have like these very intense games that get to the late game and anything can happen, and that's pretty much what we got in all three games. So
I have to admit, this is the best match I've ever casted, so thanks guys for that.
Oh, nice.
Our matches tend to be pretty entertaining, at least.
We made sure it was going to game 3 because we wanted to make sure you got more content for this stream, you know.
That's the only reason for losing with one single point on the enemy core.
Yeah, that was
the
all
only
planned
reason.
out.
Well, you're giving me you're making me want to cast more of your games coming in the future.
Oh,
You won't be
we always
disappointed.
appreciate casters, so
What about Hugh?
that's Senpai.
Senpai. I wasn't sure because the
Yeah, he's got a weird name.
Yeah, it's a meme. Sorry.
no worries.
Yeah, shout out to PSISTORM. That's all I got. Brambo's mom.
I mean, I could add shout out to Rook, which he's one of our sub in the team. He's helped us with some scouting and some preparation for the draft, map picks, map bans, everything like that. Like you don't see him in the game, but he's definitely helping us outside of the games for preparations.
Yeah, Red Rook
Very
was in
true.
the chat as well, cheering for you. So that's pretty awesome. So thanks again for this interview. Anything else you wanted to add about your games before we close this interview?
I got nothing.
Someone was already gone. Anyway, thanks a lot. And again, congratulations for your victory and good luck with the next of your games in Division A East.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Have a good one.
Catch you around.
You too. Alright, and that's it for this interview. Thank you so much to those of you who watched tonight. I hope you enjoyed the casting and the games. I sure did. As I said, best games I've casted so far, and I can't wait to have more of those. All games I cast are fun. I'm always having fun, but when we get 3 games and games that are as close as that, it's just so much more exciting. You never know what's going to happen, and yeah. This makes my casting life so much more fun. Either way, quick shoutouts for myself before I disconnect. First of all, I do video editing professionally, and I'm currently looking for some work. So if you or someone you know are looking to have a video project done and you want it to shine and look awesome, then consider contacting me. My info is down there in my channel description block thingy. Other than that, shoutouts to NGS as an organization. What they do is awesome, and it's so much fun, and I'm so glad that they're here. So if you want to help them continue to do what they do, consider donating to them on Patreon or buying some very cool merch from their merch store. I actually went and looked at it so I can confirm 100% that they do have mugs and t-shirts and they look awesome. So if you want something nice for your support, that's where to go. Either way, much love to all of you. Thanks for being here once again. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your evening, and I'll see you again for some more fun games pretty soon. I'm hoping to do at least more casts this coming week than I've done in the past week. I'll let you know. See you around.